Coming up, the latest on the transgender sports debate on Capitol Hill.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. It's certainly been a hot topic in Frankfort and in Washington, D.C. Federal legislation to ban transgender women and girls from competing on women's sports teams was heard on Capitol Hill today, but some say the bill undermines the rights of LGBTQ plus people. WYMT Washington News Bureau Stetson Miller spoke to lawmakers on both sides of the field.
The Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act seeks to change Title IX. It would define sex as based solely on a person's reproductive biology at birth.
The bill would ban school athletic programs from allowing transgender women and girls from competing on women's youth, high school, and college sports teams. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville introduced a similar bill in the Senate.
Allowing boys to play in girls' sports. And my bill basically says if you do that, you lose your federal funding.
Members of the Congressional Equality Caucus, like Wisconsin Democrat Mark Pocan, say the proposed ban is part of a radical anti-LGBTQIA plus agenda and held a press conference on Wednesday to talk about the ban.
This is part of a larger coordinated attack against transgender people in the larger community. We've seen hundreds of anti-equality bills, with many specifically targeting transgender people introduced in states across the country this year.
In Washington, I'm Stetson Miller.
Well, meanwhile, a bill to legalize wagers on sporting events in Kentucky is making some progress at the state capitol. The bill would allow betting on college and pro sporting events, both online and at horse track-owned facilities. It easily cleared a House committee in less than 30 minutes with no one voting against it. Last year, a similar bill passed the full House but never got a vote in the Senate.
I feel like we've got a lot of momentum. I feel like very optimistic going into the floor vote and going into the Senate votes.
Lawmakers estimate this would bring $23 million per year into Kentucky, but not everyone is on board. Some say gambling and the use of technology is never a good combination. Unlike previous bills, this one does not legalize online poker or daily fantasy sports. House Bill 551 now goes to the Senate, and if it passes, it will likely become law because Governor Andy Beshear says he also supports it. A bill that would allow teachers and faculty members in Kentucky's public schools to share their religious beliefs freely is headed to the House for a full vote. The bill would allow for prayer and religious programs at school and school-sanctioned events. The push comes after a United States Supreme Court case where a high school football coach was fired for insisting on prayer for his players. The court ruled in his favor. Teachers who support the bill say it could allow expression of all religions in schools. Mental health has become one of, if not the largest concern that parents have with their children. And today, the National Alliance on Mental Illness rallied in Frankfort. Members are pushing for more support in the legislature for mental health resources. And so far, NAMI Kentucky Executive Director Melanie Cunningham says legislators have been receptive.
We want the legislators to know that we mean business, we're serious, and we are here to support mental health in Kentucky and make improvements, have new initiatives and new ideas.
Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman joined NAMI today. Coleman says a recent study shows at least 15% of high schoolers in Kentucky contemplated suicide.
Things staying chilly out there tonight. Mostly clear skies, at least partly to mostly clear skies out there at this point. And if we look outside into from our vantage point here in Hazard, with the moon as full as it is, it's almost actually, you can almost see the kind of cloud line in the distance there as that works on through the region. You can kind of see it. I've drawn it there, but if you look close enough, you can see where the clear skies switch off with the cloudy skies at this point. UVA-wise, all quiet as well. Temperatures already chilly in some spots. We're in the mid-30s. Prestonsburg, Pikeville, 30, and Grundy, 28. Clintwood already. Others still in the upper 30s to low 40s. So And we still have some variability throughout the region. I think we're down not far from freezing tonight under partly to mostly cloudy skies. Details on when showers work back in a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Wesley Hook's murder in 2020 left his family searching for answers. Nearly 3 years later, that search continues. 3 people, Crystal Williams, Enos Little, and Eric DeLeon, were arrested and charged in the case. Today, DeLeon pleaded guilty to kidnapping Hook, taking a plea deal with a 30-year sentence. Hook's parents say they hope the 3 decades will serve as a constant reminder of what he did, because it's something they will never be able to forget, even though they may never know the full story.
You still have to live, you know. I didn't think I could live without my child, but you have to live without your child. But I want them to, it just seems like they'd want to just tell everything and, you know, give closure to people.
The Hooks say they hope to get the answers they've been searching for soon, but in the meantime, they are glad to see some justice for Wes. The city of Ashland met with community leaders, including the NAACP, today after a man died in police custody. We told you last night, nationally renowned attorney Ben Crump is representing the family of Clarence Wilkerson. He died in police custody Saturday. Crump tweeted this video showing Wilkerson unable to move or breathe. The city today says they recognize the grief from Wilkerson's death, and they discussed ways to facilitate open communication between the city and the community. KSP is investigating the incident. Officials say 3 kidnapped children were found in Campbell County, Tennessee this evening. Deputies say 52-year-old Douglas Mills drove from Kentucky to Mississippi and kidnapped his daughter's 3 children. Mills and 2 other people reportedly broke into the home and threatened the woman with a gun. Mills then left with his grandchildren, who are all under the age of 10. Tennessee Highway Patrol troopers were able to pull Mills over on I-75 in Campbell County, just south of the Kentucky border. 3 people, including Mills, were arrested. Officials are working on getting the children back to Mississippi. Police in Whitley County are investigating a deadly crash on Highway 92E. They say the crash happened early this morning when a Toyota Camry and Ford F-550 hit head-on. The driver of the Camry, 77-year-old Arthur Seiler, was found dead at the scene. Officials say drugs and alcohol do not appear to be a contributing factor in the crash. Attorney General Merrick Garland was in Kentucky today talking about a review into the Louisville Metro Police Department. Garland says the DOJ found reasonable cause to believe Louisville police have a pattern of violating civil rights. The investigation follows the 2020 shooting death of Breonna Taylor. Attorney General Garland highlighted several findings from the investigation, including LMPD's use of excessive force, searches using invalid warrants, and discrimination against black people.
This conduct is unacceptable. It is heartbreaking. It erodes the community trust necessary for effective policing, and it is an affront to the vast majority of officers who put their lives on the line every day to serve Louisville with honor. And it is an affront to the people of Louisville who deserve better.
Governor Andy Beshear released a statement on the findings today, saying in part, quote, "My hope is that everyone in Louisville will come together and see the findings of this report as an urgent opportunity to take intentional steps for positive, lasting change." Today is International Women's Day, celebrating women across the globe for their leadership and accomplishments in their communities and beyond. The city of Whitesburg Mayor Tiffany Craft made history as the first female mayor in Whitesburg. Here's what she says this day means to her.
Always believe in yourself. Never think that there's anything out there that you cannot do, because I never dreamed that I would be in politics and never thought in a million years that I could do anything in politics, have the capability of doing that. But, you know, here I am.
The 2023 global campaign theme is Embrace Equity. A club at the University of Kentucky is aiming to encourage and empower women neuroscience students. The club was founded just 3 years ago, and with STEM being a predominantly male field, the founders say it is imperative to have the support of their peers. The Women in Neuroscience Club allows women in STEM to have mentoring relationships with classmates and professors, hoping to make club members feel more supported.
There's not one door that you can't open if you push hard enough, and don't be scared to go forward with things that you think might not be a woman's traditional place. There's no place that a woman can't be and shouldn't be.
The club also does outreach to younger girls and boys in grades like preschool, kindergarten, first and second grade, trying to work towards a better future for women in STEM. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, state officials make a stop in London discussing barriers many Kentuckians may face without high-speed internet.
And showers back as soon as tomorrow night. Breaking down that latest threat after this.